Hey y'all, it's Evan again with Fifth Third Trading. Today is December 9th. We have another watch list for you. We do them every single day. Sunday through Thursday, I pump these out, give you guys some great potential day trading opportunities, but the main focus is always going to be folks like me and like you. We have 9 to 5s, right? We can't always check our portfolio every single day, every single hour. This is made for the intermediate traders who have a lot of money tied up in NIO and Plug and IDEX, all these big cap stocks, all of which are down today, right? We're going to talk about how you can make money with smaller mid cap stocks with just as much volatility and really make some good money. This is also great for you guys who do not have time to scan. I handle that for you. I can give you 10 stocks a day. You guys can add these to a watch list, chart them out, follow them. Even if you do not play these today, in a week, in a month, in 6 months, these will be extremely viable for you down the road. So this is not only a learning opportunity, it's also an opportunity to make money and to build a watch list. It's tenfold, right? These things are fantastic. I suggest you watch the whole entire video to get the whole entire lesson. If this content comes off interesting, if you want to follow us, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification. It does mean a lot to me. It makes a big difference, and I appreciate it. Let's review yesterday's plays and how they're looking today. We'll get through that really quick, and then we're going to hit our new stocks today. See you guys in a minute. Let's go. So just some plays from the other week that I think you should take a look at that are still extremely viable. BRO is one. Just looking at it from this point of view, yeah, you definitely have almost two different channels starting here. You have a really long-term one and the shorter-term one. Now it has to break this resistance at 45, but if it does, we're talking a good 6, 7, 8% easy. We called it earlier, but BRO is still extremely viable for you to look at today and through the week. CDXC, we called the other week. We called it over here, and then it went up twice, and now it's back in this channel. I mean, could you ask for a more perfectly shaped ascending triangle? Now, you could consider this a down or a just horizontal triangle, given these are lower highs technically. But at the same time, there's such a strong channel. You buy in here, I mean, you can just cut it, at $44.85. Risk 2%. If it busts above this, we're gonna have plenty of room to run. So CDXC is still extremely viable for you to buy into. FR we called a few weeks ago, and it's been bouncing up and down. Now it is again, also looking kind of like into a normal horizontal triangle. And like GERN, we use these aren't perfect things. We have great setups, and sometimes they fail. But again, very low risk. You can buy here. You can cut it at $40.25 if it doesn't hold. But FR is also a great look for you. LNT, you can't get a better deal than this. It goes horizontal, and then it pops off. It goes horizontal and pops. It goes up and down. It's definitely uptrending over time. So if you were to buy in anytime, you'd be good to go. I bought in over here. I bought in a good 16 days early, and I just haven't cut yet because, well, I was waiting for this. Now we have some level of convergence going on. If it takes more than a day or two over here, this whole area over here, 6 days. So I'd hold it for no more than the next week. If it doesn't hold here and go up at least 6%, it's not worth it. Granted, if you want to hold the stock for 6 days for 6%, you must have not as important other things going on, but this could be a very easy win for you if it goes off. And last is VEEV. I mean, it can't get much lower on this time scale. I mean, of course it can. Like, there's plenty of steps down, right? But if we're going to talk about historically a great deal, if you buy in here, you have at least 8% to run, unmitigated. So I'm pretty confident if you want to buy VEEV here and have a stop loss anywhere below 255, at the worst, I mean, you can go down all the way to 250. You're going to be just fine, right? More expensive, but again, for that, you get such consistency. I think it's a great buy at this moment as well. Let's hop into our new stocks. AGEN. So I added more lines than I usually do just for posterity reasons, so you can see what's going on. If you zoom in, it's definitely downtrending. Don't get this twisted, right? You can definitely make this almost into a perfect downtrend. Now, why am I saying buy this? Well, one, these are great staircases down, And there is opportunity within this downtrend. So I don't think, if you're risk averted, don't buy this, okay? But if you're somebody who likes to optimize and sees opportunity, go for it, right? Because we have a history of tapping this line, going back up, tapping this line, and bowling back up. These are bull shapes, right? We're taking some time. They kind of develop, and right here we're kind of horizontaling out. If you buy this, though, your risk is going to be about 4 or 5%. 308 would be where I would put it. But when it comes to proper gain, we're talking 20%. I mean, it's tapped here 3 times. I'd probably cut it, a few cents short just to make sure you want to get some part of the move. But looking over here, it has room to drop. If it comes down to like 292, at one point, I would definitely buy into it. That's why I put it on your watch list at least. It does have a good history. It's up channel, down channel. And now it's going down. Eventually, it will reverse. But as for now, it's at a good place to buy in and try and get this upward movement. Let's check our indicators. So here's why I also think it's not a terrible idea. The RSI looks really good. I mean, it was recently oversold, which definitely got some folks' attentions as it's kind of starting to level out. But again, you can see with the blue line here, these take moments, right? These is going to be really slow-moving wave-like patterns. So it's oversold. The stock can get a little bit lower, but MACD can. So again, the indicators look pretty good. We have pretty low volume. That's okay. And then again, the strong one, it really just bounces around and off of the 200. It's really far away. So, I mean, if you break the 50, we're talking a good 18%. So if you like these kinds of plays, you like to get the most of a channel, AGEN, Genus is a great play for you. A more consistent play that I like, this is very reminiscent of CRK, which we still are playing to this day. As you can see, it's definitely a smaller and smaller consolidating triangle. We know that leads to big moves, right? We saw this over here, this little wedge leads to a big move, right? So we have to keep that in mind. Playing with this, you need to kind of lower your expectations. You're not going to get $167, okay? You may get 144, you may get 135, right? You have some options here, but it's all about value. That's what we go for. Anytime we get into this dashed line, we've had success. And every time we hit this channel, we've had success. We have both here, and I think that's a great, great sign. If we zoom in from where it is now, you can risk about, easily 3%, okay? That's not a lot. You're okay. And you can easily make, at worst, 7%, middle ground close to 10%, and probably at best around 18%. So we want to kind of see a higher high here, right? We've had consistently lower highs. But again, when it comes to just straight value of a stock and it can't get much lower, which of course it can. But I mean, if it can't get much lower than here in the last, 6 months, value is all right here. Let's check our indicators. So with our indicators, it's the RSI. Let's just go down. The RSI looks good, 35. It can get a tad bit lower, but if we're going to look historically, right there it was 39. Right here, 39. So 35, 36 is actually more than before. So we should see a big pop here. Stochastic can get much lower, right? It's just downtrending and eventually it's going to pop up. That's good. And MACD again has some room to drop, but I think that's just because of, historically speaking, these massive, massive sell-offs. So the indicators are kind of in your side. These two main ones, stock and RSI are. The EMA lines are far away. You can see it really respects the 200. So we could assume, easily 8% if this does reverse like we want it to. So I think this is a great stock. Even for the future, it's just going back and forth. Eventually it's going to pop. It has a trend line. It has 2 support lines. Volume line is what it supports to. I mean, it's a fantastic looking stock. ALNY, I would go long tomorrow if it shows some life. A pretty popular one is BBY. As you can see, our main volume is transferred up. It was down here weeks ago, and as we trade more, so our gravitational pull went from below it to now above it, which I really like. The main volume area, again, this is kind of how you manage total risk and total reward. I don't think it's ever going to break down here again or above here at this point. and you kind of have a head and shoulders up here. So that's kind of why I think it really died off right here. But it died right into support area, right? Again, we know from just history, a downtrend is broken when it breaks above the downtrend line. Now, it doesn't mean it's, 100% sure thing, but that's a great sign that it broke above it today. They then came and retested our 102.50 support. So with that being said, we can easily see a stop loss. And you have some room. You can go down maybe to like 101, and you're probably fine. If it doesn't last there, you can rebuy in. But easily 5% at worst. We're talking hopefully the next thing will probably be around here, 114. That's 10%. And if we really show some life, 20% over the next month or so. Very, very low risk play. And that's what I love to see is low risk. I don't like to go too crazy. Like AGEN today is a little bit too risky for me at this moment. But something like this is perfect, right? It has shown life. And, you had some room. If you really want to hold this, like 6% is not a horrible, horrible loss. I mean, it's not great. But, like, if you really want to hold this, it's an earnings killing. It's trying to show some life. But if you can hold here, I mean, it's not going to break down here, I don't think. Right? This is a new channel up here. But you have your gravitational forces up here pulling it higher. It has consistencies over here. Let's check our indicators. So with our indicators, they're okay. RSI says it's oversold, obviously because of this massive area up here. Stock says that it's definitely running a little thin here. But at the same time, you can look back historically, like from here to here, it's a consistent uptrend, and this doesn't really seem to be much of a pattern to it. I wouldn't put much weight into the stochastic in this area. Over here I would have, for sure. This is a perfect representation of what was going on. But on this downtrend, I'm not really trusting the stochastic until it kind of gets its bearings. RSI means more to me. It's the first time it's been oversold in months. And then the MACD can't get much lower. It is Best Buy. I mean, it's a dying company, basically, I think. It has plenty of folks at it, but retail is getting hammered. I don't think what Mitch McConnell said was great. Plus, it was earnings, not getting political, right? McConnell, Pelosi cannot agree on anything for stimulus. So, of course, Best Buy is kind of like, we need some help. So, indicators look pretty good for RSI, MACD. Stochastic, I'm not really convinced is even viable at this moment with this big move. But it broke above the downtrend. It's at a support. It's below our main channel node of volume. So I think it has a really good viability here to buy if it continues up. Next is BIG, Big Lots. Very similar to Best Buy. As you can see, we have an area value in this area. It got murdered after earnings. A lot of these businesses did. But just like Best Buy, it showed some life. Now, you've only missed 2% of the move, so don't be upset that it bounced already. It's probably a good thing for some of you. It could technically bounce here and then dip down into the 482 area and go along here. But again, I think just historically, it bounced here and it lived. It bounced here and it's lived. So I think it has plenty of room to run. We'd say our first resistance is about 9% away if it really shows life here. Next one will probably be around $51. That's 14%, and then maximum 22%. So you have your goals in mind, 9, 15, 22. Just like with Chewy and all those kinds of stocks we talk about, our Chegg. We have different, timestamps, different staircases we want to hit. All trading is going from level to level. So those are our levels for us. It looks really good on the overall. It's been definitely uptrending. Now it's consolidating across the way. Let's check the indicators. So the indicators look pretty good. RSI is oversold for the first time in a long time. And the last time it did, it made money. The last time it did, it made money. I don't think the comeback king pattern or RSI should even mean anything without price action. And again, it's in an area of value, so this means a lot to me. Stochastic, got murdered, and so now it's kind of coming up. I wouldn't take this as exhausted just because historically it's just had so much volume over here and higher highs. So I think it has room to run, and the MACD cannot get any lower. So indicators look good besides the stochastic. Usually it's RSI and MACD look good, or a stochastic looks good. RSI means more to me with this price action and with it being an earnings killing. And as you can see, it got murdered on earnings before, bounced around and came right back. So I wouldn't be surprised if it breaks down to 42.65. I wouldn't be surprised if it goes long tomorrow and does a great job. If you bought in right now, you'd probably risk 44.81, 3%. You can then buy in around 42.90, $43. Your first price target is going to be about 49, then probably around 51, and then all the way to the top here, anywhere from 53 to 54. Some great price action in this channel, and then some great profits to be made. Big lots is big nice. BKI. So as we can see, it's definitely uptrending. It just takes its time. It goes horizontal uptrends. As we can see in the more relevant area, this line, this support at 86.4 is definitely an area of support. We can kind of come over here and see, all right, we have an obvious downtrend. It's still downtrending. It hasn't broken above this line. I would probably make these three, because they line up so well, my downtrending catalyst as what I need to break to really consider it an uptrend. As you can see, it has really harsh downtrends. I mean, it just, super steep. And then it comes right back. So I think it's going to bottom out around 86.52. It could stop here as well, but I think tomorrow we're going to see a wick, right? Beep, beep, right? It just wicks into these supports, right? So if we see a wick and you set an alarm right here, like 86.75, and you see an alert, I'd buy in because your risk is very small with this one too, right? Anything below 85, 88, give yourself some space. You gotta take some risks. Scary money don't make no money. But you have a great setup here. Probably where this gap is, I probably set up right about here, 85.62, 2%. If it doesn't live, you come down to 82.75 and you go along again, right? If it does live here, we're talking easily going to be about 3% as a worst case. So it's, a great beginner stock, but I'm thinking, the 95.81's our goal. And you should see some level of strength. Like, we have to see this. Like, if we don't see these giant power moves that it has, like, it's not shy. So if we see like a little kind of moving up slowly, be a little careful until it breaks above this resistance line, this resistance trend line. Until we see power of that happening, I would be cautious to go in. But again, it's a fantastic value. Let's check our studies. So with our studies, we can see the 200 EMA line is probably what's going to make this a great buy, right? It hasn't really gone beneath it in a long time, except for when we had that giant collapse, and since then it hasn't. Last time it kind of broke for a second and came right back. It looks to be breaking for a second to come right back. So I like that a lot. To be fair, it made really big moves off the 50. So that's above it, so that's going to be a resistance occasionally. But last time it was oversold, money. This time it's been oversold, hopefully going to be money. Stochastic can't get much lower. MACD cannot get much lower. All indicators look great, right? EMA line looks good. Your volume is, it's what's testing is the break a new channel. So this is going to be a gravitational pull. It's saying, come on down here, right? We need you back down near the 70s. But if it holds here and goes long again, this channel area will shift up here eventually and become a gravitational force above it, right? And I think that's going to be the case because you can see from here to here, that's your average volume, and the same can be said over here, right? It's about the same volume. So it's just going to be a matter of time for that to kind of happen, I think. But all the indicators look good for BKI. Black Knight, I would go long. BLD, Top Build Corporation. What an easy read. This is like Foot Locker. This is like LNT. These are just channels, right? It just keeps going up and up. The only thing that should concern you with a channel is when you don't make all the way up to the top, and obviously we didn't make that here. But to be fair, it did twice, and this was higher highs here, and so this is probably just a resistance area that it's kind of mulling off at. You can say anywhere in this area is a resistance, and as you can see, it didn't make it here. It didn't make it here or here, but it still went higher, right? So I wouldn't be too concerned, but you want to see a channel from support to resistance, support to resistance. The whole channel, though, is about 36%. That's why I love it. This has so much potential. I don't need to get into, the pattern that much. But that's your volume. It's holding above a new volume, which means this should slowly creep up, right? As volume as time goes on, it should start creeping up really, really well here. So I think that's going to be a great sign. If it doesn't break this and doesn't like go beneath 156, another fantastic sign. Let's move in a little bit closer. You have a great opportunity for a stop loss around 159.5. You'll risk 4% for this. Okay, you risk 4%. You have the opportunity to hit about 14%. Best case 25%. That's a great risk versus reward. We play those every single time. Let's check the indicators. As you can see, it's definitely a big respecter of the 200 EMA. Build respects women and the 200 EMA. A gentleman. As we can see, the stotch is in the middle. Okay, it has a history of stopping here on the way down and up. It has a history of pulling back and making some healthy gains. It has a history of coming up, pulling back, making some healthy gains. Right? It also has a history of like over here just muddling around. So it's a good indicator. I think it could be a little bit lower, but we have room to run. Okay, it's on an uptrend. If it was on the downtrend, I'd say we have room to drop. But seeing as it's an uptrending stochastic, it has plenty of room to go up. MACD's about to cross, and the RSI was recently oversold. Indicators look good. It does like the 50. That's right here. So if, again, we want to see some power, boom, a good 4% move, big 5% move. Clear that, hold above it, and then retest it and go long. So I think it looks good. It's about to be considered, confirmed. It does have some pretty low volume, 70, 80,000 a candle, 200 at most. It's a bit lower volume stock, but the setup was so perfect I had to go with it, right? Top Build Corp, it looks like a fantastic buy for the future. I'd buy it tomorrow probably, honestly. Core, or COR. I mean, what beautiful channel play. I mean, like, it just goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth in this volume. This volume is in the middle, this node that's like a support. You can see it acts like as a support, right? It supports there, resists here, support, 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 resistance. How strong is that thing? That's crazy. Since I put this trend line, it broke it, so I would just take this out, honestly, at this point. Maybe it becomes a candle and goes up, but you've seen where I put it. Just do that and go across, right? If that doesn't hold while you watch this video tonight or the next few days, just plan to buy in anywhere. I'd say you find yourself some good wicks, probably right about here is probably your best bet. So anywhere from 118.35 down to 117.25. That's only $1. Okay, it's 1%. Don't be like, I want to wait for my 117 and then miss a whole entire, then don't miss this whole entire 10% move because you wanted to be, a little Mr. Scared Money, right? Go along, my boy. So once it hits 118.35, I'd buy in for sure. And then we're looking at holding it to at least 6%. And again, you may be like, that's not a lot of money. I want to make more than 6%. Well, if you could do it once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 7, 8, you can do this 10 times, almost twice every month. Okay, 6 times 2 is 12, times 12, 144 times over the year. That's not math. That's stupid. I'm big stupid. Yeah, twice a month, we're talking maybe 24 times a year. 6% is pretty good money, right? So buy it down here. You're going to be able to hold it and go up pretty far. 10%, 9%, or at least 6%. It's a great beginner stock. It looks really, really safe. It's not going to leave this channel. If you buy in now, you can cut it, worst case, you cut it 113.8. You could easily cut it, maybe 115.7 when it clears these other bars over here. All right, that may be a concern. And then you just buy in again when it gets up here, make your money back. Let's check the indicators. So it looks like it's a really big fan of the 200 EMA, as we can see. It bounced above it, dropped down, broke back above it, and now it dropped down, rode it, dropped back down again. So it looks to respect it, but it doesn't seem to be that big of a deterrent. RSI looks really good on this chart, though, I will admit. Like, every time it's gone below 32, 33, it's made money. It may take you longer, right? This was technically oversold here. It took you almost 10 days to make your money back. So, I mean, this is a longer hold. If you're more intermediate and you make a lot of money and a lot of good calls, avoid this probably because it's going to probably bore you to watch, oh, I made 5% over 7 days. But if you're a newbie and you're trying to learn how to like really hold money and like hold through some red on your account and you can see it every day and you can be okay, it's about to be oversold in a minute here. That's great. SWINGCAST, it can't get much lower. MACD can't get much lower. Perfect stock to buy into, right? You could buy in today. You hold it to like 116.87. If you see it holding candles, sell and then rebuy in. But if you're a beginner, this is a great stock for you. Such beautiful price action. Coresight, COR is a fantastic. Coresight is a fantastic find and a great stock to buy. So EXR, or Extra Space Storage, I use them. They were lovely to me. Shout out to Extra Space Storage. EXR, send the check. So as we can see, what a beautiful channel. I mean, like, do you need anything else in life besides this channel? You could probably move it up. You know, you could probably expand it to include these two candles, but you would have bought in and held anyways. When it comes to supports, it has room to drop, okay? It's technically still uptrending, you know, higher high, higher low, higher high, still technically a higher low. But if it breaks down a little bit more into this area, I'd buy it. Given it's uptrending, I mean, it doesn't seem to be slowing down one bit. I mean, I would buy it right now, and then if it dips lower, be like, great, I know it's going to confirm. You can cut it 190.50, 109.50, 2% away. If it doesn't hold, because there's a chance it's going to start its own channel. Anywhere in here, it'll start going up and down. You can see it was going horizontal for a while. It's possible. But while it's still uptrending, I like it a lot. You can say that this is a resistance up here, right about there. And that means that you have now its own little baby triangle forming. You know, big moves lead to channels. So it looks great. I mean, what else can I say? Buy it now or whenever you want, but anywhere from here to 109.66, 109.50 and up, we're talking easy 6%. You can use and abuse this one multiple times. And the goal, hopefully, is that we can ride this up all the way and just keep on riding it up and up and up. It's a great looking stock. Let's check our indicators. So this too also loves the 200 EMA line, which it's right next to with a support and a channel. What more could you want? It's almost oversold. I'm sure if it drops a few more cents, it's going to become under 39, under 40, which is where it starts showing up on a lot of people's scanners. It looks like every time it crosses on the stochastic in this area, it makes money eventually, again, because it's uptrending. But you pair that with the area that we're in, right, like a low stochastic this far above the channel, doesn't mean much to me. It means something for a 50 EMA play, right? That to me would mean that. But this far down to the 200 and the channel, that's pretty. MACD says it's crossing over, but MACD doesn't really seem to do much in this channel anyways. Like, what's this? Like, that's a stupid indicator. So this is a beautiful look. I would definitely buy into this. Again, worst case, you just cut it real slim. You can see it's really fighting against this volume channel, hold above it. If it breaks above it again and keeps doing that, hopefully it's going to move this up higher. But we'll see. Again, just the price action alone for EXR looks fantastic. We got four more. GALT. Again, what more? What more could you want? I mean, like, Merry Chrysler to us, you know. Happy Honda days. So as we can see in this is our volume dotted line. That's our main area of volume. That's the high. It literally follows the volume profile perfectly. It comes down here. It goes up almost 26%. What the front door, my boy. Sheesh. Even a bad move is still 10%. Whew. Makes me excited. Golly. Got me the vapors. As we can see, it has a little bit of room to drop. Now, we're taking on more risk, okay? We're taking on 5 to 6% risk if this dies on us. But, I mean, do I think it's going to die on you? No. So I'd buy in as soon as possible. While it's in this area, goes up, you know, we're talking easily 5, 6, 7, 8% easy. Potentially 22. I mean, historically, it does it. It's not out of the world of possibility. I also bet if we look at the indicators, the stochastic is going to be BEAU to full. I called it. Oh, it's so beautiful. So you can see just the mirroring image of the stochastic and the stock. I mean, that is an absolute rarity. I mean, this doesn't happen very often, and that's why I'm pretty freaking stoked about it. As you can see, it's hard to zoom in on. So what I do usually is I can move this a little bit. Then you can highlight like that. So it's a little bit easier to see peaks and stuff. Cheat code. So it looks like as of recently, it doesn't make the nearly as big a move as it used to. It's kind of, whatever. But again, the stochastic, it's negative 46. That's great. RSI is at 40. The MACD can get a little bit lower, but man, just price action alone, what potential. And you have such a clear area of where you'd cut it, right? If you have a stock where you have it hold beneath 245, anywhere from like that to 250, if it holds a candle, I would cut it and then rebuy in if you have to. Because again, that's the whole entire idea. So again, the premise of cutting when you think it may bounce back, if you cut it and it dies more, you save money. If you cut it and then it comes back and you buy back in and make money, you didn't lose anything. You may have lost the opportunity, right? But all you did was you covered your losses when you made that move. That's how you properly mitigate risk. We're not going to hold it and be like, it's going to come back, and then you wake up the next day and it just drops off more and you lost more money, right? We don't have FOMO. We don't take care of any of that kind of stuff. If it drops to your stop loss, you sell it. And if it comes back and it starts curling, you buy back in and you try and make your money back, right? And then some. That's how you properly do it. That's why I cut and rebuy in. It's all about our idea of risk management. So given that and just the whole entire setup of this stock, I mean, honestly, I'm buying in tomorrow. GALT is beautiful. Next is HAS. We have a big sell-off over here that's kind of been ramming up over here. We had such a beautiful channel that's now becoming hopefully another channel. As you can see, it's holding above our volume area, which shows it's making a new channel. I like that a lot. If it holds here, you have your convergence going on. If it holds here, easily 8%, just going to go right back up. If it doesn't hold here, it's fine, right? If it doesn't hold above 87.68, give it some room, okay? Give it some room. You got to risk some money. If it doesn't hold here, it'll probably bounce somewhere around here, around your $84, $85 area. If it bounces here, again, then you go along and you have a whole new channel developing. That's great. If not, you just wait for this and you, again, buy back in. So we're thinking it's going to make a new channel. It's definitely uptrending, right? It has a good chance of bouncing here and going up and then coming down a little bit, going back up and then breaking above, making a brand new channel. It's beautiful price action. Let's check our indicators. So again, I think it is a beautiful setup. It is stuck between both EMA lines. That's kind of a concern for consolidating is going to happen. The stochastic can get lower. I mean, again, you had a cute little 2% move. That's nothing. You don't even plan to make that kind of money. That's way too small. RSI is oversold. Negative 40. It's at negative 37 right now. MACD can't get too much lower, and stochastic can't get too much lower. We'll see some form of volume soon. You can also see it's actually a divergence at this moment. As you can see, those don't add up. So we'll see possibly a reversal soon. It's just going to probably hopefully keep going. Even right here is another divergence. So it's definitely still in bullish territory. Given that in the trend line, you can definitely wait till it hits the 200 EMA. That's only 2 and some change % away. That should be your stop loss. If it breaks that and holds below it, you should cut that. It should be good to go. But HAS, Hasbro, what a nice company, definitely has potential to keep being bullish and keep on ramming on through. Next is new. Puxin Limited ADR unsponsored. That's the name of my first child. Just kidding. So as we can see, it's definitely holding at this new support area. I don't think it was historically anything. Yeah, it was all right. I mean, it hit. No, not really. So definitely our area of support. Earnings didn't do anything to it, which is always a oddity in this time where everyone gets murdered on earnings days. As we can see, this is a obvious downtrending stock at the moment, but it seems to be fighting back. So it looks like at this price area, it's a fantastic value. you can just cut it beneath, 686 and some change. If it doesn't hold, get rid of it. But again, the potential, easily 8% at our next support area, next resistance, could easily break to almost 15%. So it has a history of doing this on the way down, of consolidating and dropping down. The idea and question is, when's this going to stop? Eventually, it's going to have to hit something where folks go, hey, this is a good deal, and then supply and demand just take over, and it goes up. It is in this area of volume, your node. It's definitely getting gravitationally thrown back and forth in this area, which is fine. But again, this has a history of just pretty stark big movements, like this one day over here. This week was almost 18%. So you're going to have some big movements, obviously. So you'll have some pretty big movements. But I think this is a really nice value for your stock. You get in here, right? You can cut right below these candles for your stop loss and then rebuy it if you want to. But as it's descending, you got to expect it's going to probably keep descending until it breaks above this golden line. Let's check our indicators. So as you can see, it's fighting below both EMA lines, which shows it's not doing too well on the long term. But again, the stochastic down here has made money every single time it has. I mean, it made 12% that day. In this area, you're going to make some money if it shows any type of life. So again, a great value stock to buy. It's at what, 702. You can cut it down here. You're wasting 3% for maybe 9%. And if luckily, it could happen. We could easily get the movement that breaks above this 200 EMA line and keeps going long. I mean, long term, it should go back. I'm not going to say it's going to. But stochastic, RSI, MACD, all oversold. It's at a good price. I think new, if it shows a little bit of life tomorrow, will be a fantastic choice. Last and not least, again, just like my new baby, GALT, GALT has some gorgeous price action. The only concerning thing, and this also is not overly concerning, is that it does have a little bit of room to drop. It could drop down to the 202s. This is a penny stock for those who keep asking me for one. This is the issue, is that it's downtrending. But here's the positive side to it downtrending. It does this a lot, okay? It does it here, right? It did that there and broke above. It definitely did it here and broke above, right? This thing does, two things, ascend, descend, right? So the good news for you, though, because it's such a clear, visible line of what it's been following, what you can do, and I've said this before today, is that's going to be your indication of when to really go long. Now, we're at a fantastic place of value, right? Every time it's hit this spot, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times it's done this, it's made money. So I wouldn't be concerned about that. But until it really clears this, it's going to be less and less gains. But once it breaks above this, you have a whole bunch of potential if you hold for a good amount of time. Worst case, I think right here we're making at least 3%, which isn't much, but that'll mitigate if it does die on you to, it gives you some kind of reward. Anywhere in this area will be your first resistance, 8%, but then 15 and then 26. This has a history of consolidating here and then popping off, consolidating here and popping off, consolidating, popping. So this is a great stock just for the history of it all. Almost 8 months of this, right? You love to see it. Let's just tweak it like that. Let's zoom in really close to this real quick without that peak. Right, look at that. I mean, it may look like gibberish to some of you, but if you follow the lines, I mean, look at that. It's just like a jump rope, just up and down, hula hooping, up and down, up and down, up and down, pogo sticking. All your childhood games, it's doing all of them. Let's check the indicators. So as you can see, it's beneath both EMA lines. It respects both of them equally, a lot of it. But again, as it downtrends and then consolidates, they'll become within striking distance. And once they can clear above those, it'll go crazy. Stochastic has some room to drop, and so does RSI. That is a bit concerning because it should be lower. Hopefully, like down here, it should be. So then it could kind of pop back up. But again, given the price action history, that takes king to me. And it has a history, of bouncing here. As you can see, it's not perfectly up and down. It definitely has some history of kind of going up and down, making, its own little double bottoms and triple tops and head and shoulders down here as well. But just given the price action, the value, you can buy in now, you cut it, 3% later if it doesn't hold, and the possibility of easily 9 or 12%. RESN is a great penny stock. And there you have it. Those are our 12 plays for tomorrow. Many of them are just fantastic price values that you can get into, you can easily get out of if you have to, but the upside potential is way, way higher than the risk. I want you guys to comment down below which ones look best to you, any kind of suggestions, comment those down below as well. If you like this content, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. We have over 500 subscribers in less than 3 weeks. It means I'm onto something. Go ahead and check back the old videos from this week. A lot of these plays are still in rotation. They can still be bought into. I'll start calling them out more on here, like the next day, be like, hey, these are still viable choices for you. I don't want you guys going to scurry through a bunch of different stuff. I'll take care of that for you if I can. With that being said, have a good Wednesday, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.